In the Ayutthaya period, Ban Dan Kwian was a village on the bank of Moon River, the trade route between Kholat and Cambodia. It passed Nang Long, Buriram, Surin, Khu Khan, Khun Han, and ended at Cambodia. During many ages, the ancestors of Ban Dan Kwian said that Dan Kwian villagers did farming on the bank of Moon River. They started to learn about the pottery production from Kha people, the hill tribe of Mon Khmer stock living, who were the aborigines staying in the area of Khong River. The pottery production of Dan Kwian villagers in the first period was the earthenware used in the houses, such as water jars, pots, jugs, and mortars for grinding medicine. At present, the pottery has been developed from the ware used in the houses to the decorations for the houses, the gardens, and the goods exported to abroad. The Dan Kwian pottery has been famous for the Thai people and foreigners because when it had been baked, it becomes the bronze color. This is the identity of Dan Kwian pottery. Ban Dan Kwian Pottery Village Group had been selected by Community Development Department, Ministry of Interior, to be the OTOP village, which was the model of knowledge-based village cluster at the end of 2004. The products had been developed together with any services of the community, so it became to the model and the school for propagating the knowledge to other communities. Ban Dan Kwian was named the first OTOP village, which was the model in the northeast and was one of 4 villages in Thailand. According to the recent operation, both Thai and foreign tourists, together with people from many departments and organizations who observed the activities, went here because it was the model of OTOP Pottery Village. Dan Kwian Pottery Village Group was chosen by Office of Tourism Development, Ministry of Tourism and Sports, to be the OTOP tourism village in the beginning of 2005. The townscape and tourism routes of this pottery village were developed. The residences were opened in the form of homestay for giving the convenience to both Thai and foreign tourists. They could stay and had the impression in lifestyle and the local wisdom of pottery production of this village. When they stayed here, they would be impressed in many points. They could choose and buy the famous product, the Dan Kwian pottery. They did the demonstrative tourism, saw the pottery manufacturing process, and saw 5 exhibition booths for the demonstration, such as the booth of peacocks, pots, fish, lamps, and shells. Besides, they also saw many things about Dan Kwian pottery, such as the area for preparing baked clay, the baking houses, the ancient kilns, and the ancient arches. They passed on the molding knowledge, which was unique. They could choose to study in each program, which was designed for both Thai and foreign people by this community. They saw the landscape, the lifestyle, and the ways of life in the northeast of Thailand. Dan Kwian was chosen to be the OTOP tourism village, so everyone believed in the goods quality and the service standard. They traveled without the worry about the comfort because there were toilets, restaurants, and guideposts.
Ban Dan Kwian is a place of unique pottery of Nakhon Ratchasima, with professional pottery skill that was heritage from ancestors including Mien Singtalea Village Headman, who is Ban Dan Kwian Pottery Community sage. He has involved in pottery field since he was a kid until now, and mostly used the original techniques from ancestors such as molding and baking. The only change is that the pottery design and decoration pattern varies according to market demand depending on each age.
เมื่อก่อนดินเผาด่านเกวียนจะนิยมทำเครื่องใช้ในครัวเรือนจะเป็นส่วนใหญ่พอเหลือจากใช่ก็มาทุกใส่เกวียนใส่เอาเครื่องปั้นดินเผาไปแลกเข้าเปลือกกลับมาเดินทางจากด่านเกวียนไปโชคชัยไปสุรินทร์นางรองสุรินทร์บุรีรัมย์ศรีสะเกษเพื่อเอาเครื่องปั้นดินเผาไปแลกกลับมาก่อนไม่มีการค้าขายเป็นแค่การแลกนะครับพอหลังจากนั้นก็พลิกผันจากเครื่องใช้ในครัวเรือนมาเป็นเครื่องตกแต่งบ้านและสวนจะมีอาจารย์มหาลัยราชมงคลอีสานหรือมหาลัยเทคนิคเนี่ยพลิกผันจากเครื่องใช้ในครัวเรือนมาเป็นเครื่องตกแต่งบ้านและสวนด่านเกวียนเลยพลิกผันจากนั้นเป็นต้นมาคือมีคนจุดประกายเราเปลี่ยนจากปั้นเป็นรูปสัตว์ต่างๆเช่นนกฮูกนกยูงกระเช่าแขวนต่างๆเป็นตุ๊กตาชาวนาแล้วก็มาเป็นกระเบื้องดินเผานะครับนกฮูกเนี่ยคนที่ปั้นนกฮูกคนแรกคืออาจารย์วิชัยภูในเมืองแกไปญี่ปุ่นมาแกไปได้ไอเดียมาจากญี่ปุ่นแกก็เลยมาทดลองปั้นดูปั้นเป็นนกฮูกก็ปั้นแบบทรงแบบคล้ายๆนกฮูกการ์ตูนก็ไม่เหมือนจริงอาจารย์แต่ผมก็เลยพลิกผันฉีกแนวแกลองปั้นนกฮูกเหมือนจริงมาเดิมทีผมอายุประมาณสัก15-16 ปีจะปั้นนกฮูกตัวเล็กๆก้อนที่เขียวบุหรี่
From the entrance to Mien Singtalea House, visitors will be able to meet Ban Dan Kwian Pottery Dynasty, which compiles of lots of Ban Dan Kwian pottery for visitors to buy, such as jars, lotus basins, mortars, vases, pots, and dolls. Moreover, they will be able to view a small archaeological site made of bricks and sandstone, named Prang Prakho, that contains religious places in the shape of 3 castles. But now there are only 2 left. It is assumed that Prang Prakho is a religious site in Hinduism, which is built according to the ancient Khmer art style.
The foreign tourists could learn the Thai culture of pottery molding in the area of Ban Dan Kwian village in Nakhon Ratchasima. These tourism activities were created in order that the tourists would be interested in the cultural source. They could learn the folk wisdom and take the knowledge for continuing other activities in futures. For supporting to study about the lifestyle and the pottery molding being the folk wisdom of Nakhon Ratchasima. For supporting to start to make the products being useful for themselves in the future. For supporting to create the spatial interest tourism and making the impression in the culture for advertising the tourism in the international level. This program aims to support productive activities, to be creative and entertain the elderly tourists, according to the Preparing Aptness for the Elderly Strategy in 2025. This program also contains cultural learning, ways of life, and Ban Dan Kwian molding process. The elderly will be able to have a great mental life, feel at ease from working, and learn new things with others. For supporting the elderly to learn Ban Dan Kwian molding cultures. For supporting the elderly to participate amusement activities, which help the elderly feel at ease for mental and emotional well-being. For supporting the elderly to collaborate with others in order to create good relationships forward to the future. For setting the place to be cultural and educational learning center that will be presented about Ban Dan Kwian pottery molding. This program aims to develop the concentration and cognition to be integrated for creativity, combined with traditional ways of living people throughout Ban Dan Kwian pottery molding process and contemporary molding in Ban Dan Kwian Village. Moreover, the learner will be able to use the knowledge to apply in studying and working forward to the future. For creating outside classroom for youth and kids, which focuses on the development of group participation, learning and working with others. For creating the concentration and patience in producing work piece from the first to the last process, which comes up with self-pride and working competencies forward to the future. For creating past and present community learning at Ban Dan Kwian Village, which comes up with original cultural intellect of Nakhon Ratchasima. Foreign tourists will be able to learn Thai pottery molding culture at Ban Dan Kwian District, Nakhon Ratchasima. This program also creates tourism particular activity which focuses on the culture resource, accessibility and learning with Thai cultural intellect that can be adapted further in any fields of future. For supporting learners to learn ways of living in pottery molding, which are the cultural intellect of Nakhon Ratchasima. For supporting practical skill, which can use to produce works and be beneficial to learners to adapt forward to the future. For supporting to create the way of particular tourism, which leads to making cultural impression. Moreover, this can be Thailand tourism publication into worldwide. This program aims to set the cultural tourist attraction in the type of handicraft and molding in Nakhon Ratchasima, in order to be prepared of welcoming very important person and international people who desire to learn Thai culture in Nakhon Ratchasima. This program is also the action of Nakhon Ratchasima's strategy in terms of city of tourist attraction and meeting. For setting cultural handicraft and molding tourist attraction in Nakhon Ratchasima. For welcoming very important person who desires to learn Thai culture during festival travel in Nakhon Ratchasima. For make the action for Nakhon Ratchasima strategy in terms of the city of tourist attraction and meeting. For supporting local economy and tourism. These programs can be held for learning in two types. The following price rate doesn't include meal and beverage. The workpiece shipping depends on weight and distance if you cannot come and pick up by yourself. Duration of activities can be adjusted according to participants. The station introduced the history of Dan Kwian and its pottery production from the past to the present. The station had the story, belief, and the customs of Dan Kwian. The station taught about the clay preparation and the tourists could visit the baking houses. The station taught the molding, the pottery, the decoration, the engraving, or the pattern design. The station taught the baking techniques. The station taught the painting. The last station introduced the interesting nearby tourist attractions The tourists could take photos of works and check-in. They could do this both private and public. They could write for telling their feeling or their impression stories about the activity participation in the Dan Kwian pottery molding program in the notebooks.